Hello, this is Sunanda Jha from Lavan Investing, and for today's topic, we have rare earths industry, one of the much discussed topic in the recent times because of its sheer value. To understand more around its opportunity and challenges exist around this area, we are back with our panel of Vijay, the portfolio manager of Lavan Investing, along with different investment managers who would share their insights on the topic. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's start up today's presentation, Jack. Okay, look, my name is Vijay and I'm a financial planner and a portfolio manager and investment consultant as well. And you can ring me. My number is 0425 308 313. Always available as always. Life is not that difficult and busy, but it's fine. I manage. Love www.lavandainvesting.com.au and Lavan Funds. That's basically, and we got a couple of good mates in over here. We got Chai from Banyan Tree People and Zach as well. Now, look, I think last week we had a couple of advisors and they did talk about what's happening in the rare earth. So let's go first into the detail. What is rare earth? So basically the global scenario with the changing of the climate change, the new technologies that's come across and all the things that are happening into rare metals. So what are the rare metals? So one of the precious metal I heard, but what is rare metals? So rare metals are basically a lot of those metals which are rare and technically they are not in the pure form. So all those couple of those metals when we talk about, in the periodic table which I learned, I think in year 11 and year 12. So all this lanthanum, cerium, presidium, and cardolium, my God, all difficult names, yttrium. So those are all rare metals, and these are the metals that are used into that high technology, high-speed trains, high-speed turbines, and the batteries and those kinds of things. I think all the new technology and the new things coming up, and that's all into this one, into rare metals. And if you go in more detail onto that, then China is controlling approximately 60 to 70%, and they got the highest resources of the global metals as well. So in that scenario, I think the global politics and global things are coming up, and the US, Europe, and China and those US-Australian relationship at the macro levels are keeping up in the place, and those adjustments are happening. So let's talk, I think, what are the implications of those stocks and those things. In Australia, I think if you leave behind China, then the two second biggest companies are Lynas and Iluka Resources. See, fantastic. In last 3 years, if you look around, then almost the prices tripled, I think, in 2020 all around. So 1 year back, and see now it's almost around $8 coming up. So and it's almost such a big increase, 1,000% increase in 5 years. So very fantastic on Lynas Corporation, the biggest rare metal mining company. And then we have the second Iluka Resources, and I think that's also the stock has moved up in five years. That's fantastic. Yep. So we go more in detail. So now let's think what's happening into those slides. We will take around we got around 20 slides onto this, and I'll take in 10, and my colleague Pooja, a very intelligent girl as well, and our research specialist as well, and then we will ask a couple of questions to Chai and Zach onto which what should we do about Iluka and Lynas corporations. And then there, I think we got Gaurav as well. He will be talking about two different stocks on United Health Group and Electronic Arts, both listed on New York Stock Exchange. Now, if you look around this, see, there is now the revenues are up and down. If it's that's one of the first thing to be looking at, and why are the reasons and what are the reasons, both on Lynas and same as Iluka as well, please. So what is the global politics coming up? So the news, September news. I was reading the ABC news as well in the morning, and the European makes a $2 billion push to cut reliance on China's rare earth. So these are the couple of global headlines coming up into last 2 or 3 months, and so that is the global political change happening. That not all eggs in one basket. So they want a little bit dominancy should be getting out. Fad, fashion, and trend. So trend is my best friend. So what is a bigger trend? So the green energy is a big trend that's coming up, and the technology in the ITC, basically the world, what we talk about. So we go more into detail exactly what's happened in the global themes. So where do these metals are used? So exactly you can see in over more detail in the slides. So smartphones, the screens of the smartphones, the batteries, and same as in the car, the battery manufacturing and those things. So basically in future, by 2030s, the cars and those things will coming up more into gore, and the world is going on a high-speed trains and wind turbines and those kinds of things in a bigger scale. The demand will be much higher onto these metals. Please. So what's happening? Where is the demand coming up? So demand and supply. Well, the demand is the best thing, and the price depends on the demand. If the demand is more, so let's see what is the demands happening and where the demand is coming from. So from around 2017, can you go to the slide back, please? 1 second. So from 2017 to 2025, it's almost around double. In 3 years' time, the demand of the rare metals has increased doubled. In 3 years' time, it's a big thing. So where are this demand coming from? Which are the sectors? So magnet is the biggest area, then the glass and the catalyst and the batteries, that is a trend that we need to be watching. So yeah, and I'll see further it will be increasing. So what is the scenario on the global production? So as I said to you, that's 250,000 metric ton will be the global, and out of this 250,000 metric ton, 60% is coming from the China. So technically, China is the biggest supplier as well, and basically contributing of the mining industry in the world as well. So and the whole world is depending onto these areas, and all the future generation technologies, these things will be coming in picture. So that is the world is concerned about. Okay, where should we going? Please. Now, this is a periodic table. So basically, if you talk in the word periodic table, as I said to you, that all the, Pooja, you know about periodic tables. Chai, did you remember? Year 12. Mendel's periodic table. He designed the periodic table.
Oh.
So I said, no, I'm a finance guy. I'm an analyst. I'm an investment manager. I don't know what chemicals.
You're testing me. You're testing me. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time.
I remember that Mendel was in 1860s odd years around. He designed of this periodic table. So basically, these are the pure. These are rare matters. So rare means again, we're talking about cerium, pandenium, samarium, and this whole rare matters. They're not formed in the pure form. So they are mixed with some, with different oxides. And the problem is, it's not like in normal mining that happens in Perth, where the coal production you open up the earth and you get the coals as an open mining thing. Over here, the metals are in a oxide form. So the processing itself is very dramatic, and a lot of environment pollution and those things comes in picture as well. So, and the second important thing is China is the biggest supplier, and the cost and the production cost is much more lower over there. So these are the two important factors that are playing the role in the global market of the rare metals. Please. So, okay, if you look at these slides again, same global reserves. China is the biggest reserves in production as well. And so what is happening in the market? So the other countries, that will be Vietnam and Brazil and Russia. They are the other countries that have the reserves and the production as well. And as I said to you, in Australia, we got the two biggest companies were Lynas and Iluka Resources, which we need to be taking care of across. And as I said to you again, look into the production side. What's happening is the global capacity is almost around the similar coming up. So it has almost doubled from 2010 to 2020. So the demand is increasing. So we should be looking for those companies who are into it. Please. So that's the same as we talked about. The production has increased, and China is the largest, and this is the global politics. So compared to US and Australia, so yeah, Australia is they got the biggest mining companies across. But still, so we got so still the production is this. Now the second side of the coin is coming across, that what is the future? Where is the China? Are the Chinese demands of so much of production, and with regards to the technological products of magnets and batteries and those things. So now their production has tilted, or it's moving across, or where the investment or the new investment coming up in the industry. Let's see how this goes. Please. So Pooja, do you want to talk about this global supply chains and what's happening into those things, please?
Yes, sure, Vijay. I think this is a very interesting topic of rare metal reserves. So as we have seen in the last chart, like China's production is actually forecast to fall in the coming decades. So because of its current monopoly. So in this chart, we can see that the global supply outside of China is expected to grow gradually out to 2025. So within, coming 25, like until 2025, the expected growth is predicted. So coming to the next slide. Yeah. So in this chart, we can see how Lynas revenue record since 2017 has been checkered. In fact, since its revenue, if we see, it's actually declined in the growing market. So any future disappointments on production volumes could hit the share price hard, because Lynas Corp is outside China and it's largest in production. So yeah, next. This was the Lynas revenue history we were talking about. It has been, seen that it can hit the share price hard, but it is good in production. It's been ruling in the market. Yep. Same way.
Pooja, over here. Pooja, over here, when we talk about Lynas, there was some news. I think they had some largest refinery in Malaysia, and simultaneously they were talking with the US with regards to some production happening facility in Texas. So, and I think that's a big refineries coming up, and a lot of investments happening in there. So that is something to watch around, what's happening to that, and Lynas becoming the biggest stock into that arena.
Yes, it is becoming a big ASX stock in production of results. Yeah. So coming to Iluka Resources, similarly, Iluka Resources, their share price has gone significantly up in recent years, but the revenue has been overall placed over the past 7 years, as shown in this chart. Their share price is $8.80. Next.
Pooja, over there again, in Perth, Iluka Resources is having a big refinery coming up as well. So that is something to be looking around. But as I said to you, look, we have to look around what are the environmental issues and those kinds of things coming up again, the global demand. Yep. Yes, and Pooja, do you know about this couple of stocks on the smaller stocks onto that? So I think Chai, the smallest stock into this arena is Galaxy Resources, Avonlea Resources. They're very, very small cap, Jarvis Mining and Archer Exploration. Very small market capitalization, but just something to look into when you talk about those rare earth metals.
So like Lynas and Iluka, these Galaxy and the smaller one, they are coming up with this rare earth reserves, basically.
Yeah, technically they're in the same industry. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, Pooja.
Yeah. So here we can see how to play rare earths. This is a very interesting topic. Like we have been seeing that China has been the largest in production of rare earths reserves. So here we can see there are rare earths ETF which are listed in the US. We can see fund top holdings. So above price chart, that even taking exposure through a broad ETF can be quite a ride with the ups and downs of the broader market. So it makes sense to allow the market noise about rare earth metals. That's what we have been listening to settle before taking an investment decisions, of course. So coming to the next slide, we are going to discuss about two global stock ideas, which is, I'll like Gaurav or Chai.
Pooja, I'll talk about the stocks, but before I think I'll need to ask Chai and Zach. Zach, what do you suggest about Iluka and Lynas Resources? What's your opinion about I got an idea about the ETF, but would be interested to know more about into the Iluka and Lynas.
Yeah, I'm happy to take that, Vijay. This is Max here. I think what we need to keep an eye on is obviously the long-term tailwind of government policies in Europe and North America, as you exactly pointed out, that the governments are allowing the regulatory space for the likes of Lynas, Iluka, and there'll be others as well that will come up, that they will be facilitated through joint venture agreements, probably turn a softer eye on, the environmental impacts that some of these, well, certainly Lynas has been struggling with its processing facility in Malaysia, because they want to see production outside of China and reduce their dependence on China. So from that perspective, those structural tailwinds are in favor of Lynas and Iluka, but these companies have actually had a checkered execution. So therefore, and the share price has run hard. So they're certainly worth watching at this point in time, but not taking a position. The way this rare earth industry could be played is potentially through the ETF, which also comes with its own, as you can see, the price chart history is quite volatile. But I think if you're taking a 10-year view, you could get exposure to these outside of China companies like Lynas and some of the other companies that you can see that are held in that ETF, but in a diversified way, right? So I would be considering the ETF before the stocks necessarily. Certainly in the share prices have run too hard, I think, on the short-term basis.
Fantastic, Max. I think that makes more sense. I think I agree with that. That is totally the production side, but with the AUKUS coming up and more into the relation, I think Zach is saying something. Zach, sorry.
Sorry, that was Chai. Sorry, exactly what Max was saying. Just in terms of Lynas, the last 2 weeks has been fantastic for the company. I believe they're up 15% on very, very, very little news flow. If you look back to the the last annual report that was published on, I believe it was 12th of October, they spoke about how they're well capitalized following the $425 million capital raising. And that was to deliver construction of the Kalgoorlie rare earths processing facility. So, little news flow, they're well capitalized. There is expectation, hype around the quarterly results that will be published in 2 days' time on Friday. But, after delivering a record profit in the annual reports, obviously there's a bit of hype around that, and investors are speculating to their success in the first quarter of FY22. So, but as what Max was saying, the ETF is probably a better option at this juncture. Sorry, I interrupted. Vijay.
No, that was fantastic. Look, you shared some very, very good details, and I'm really appreciate to be. Thank you giving us a real good insight onto the more on the working of Lynas, and I think they were in the news as well with strategic long-term relations coming between US and Australia. So Lynas and Iluka are worth watching, but we agree with you that let's look, instead of going on the stock specific or something, the portfolio specific would be a better idea, like when I can getting up the performance onto stock returns onto that line. So no, fantastic, Chai, very good analysis. I really appreciate, and same Max as well with the check production things and the production constant. Thank you.